look, I know exactly what you are doing right now. You're staring at the year 2026 like it's a suspicious package left on your porch. You're reading the headlines. You're looking at your 401k. You're looking at your grocery bill and wondering, does this bag of chips really cost $7? And you're asking yourself the same three questions that have been lighting up my comments for months now. The first one, will the stock market keep going up? Or is it about to drive off a cliff like Thelma and Louise? 2, are gold and silver already too expensive? Or do I still have time to buy before they cost more than a kidney? And 3, did I miss the opportunity? Am I the guy who showed up to the party right as the cops arrived? And then the housing market. You're thinking, this can't last. It has to crash. Gravity has to kick in eventually. That's a logical thought. They're all logical thoughts, responsible thoughts. And if you're a homeowner, they are also the most dangerous thoughts you can have right now. Because while you're sitting there waiting for prices to fall and the market to make sense, there's a silent force that's lurking in the shadows, waiting to drain the value of everything you've worked for. And it's not the stock market. It's not a housing crash. It's not even inflation the way that you think about it. It's the Federal Reserve. And on December 12th, they quietly flipped a switch that changes everything about how you need to protect your home, your equity, and your savings in 2026. They didn't announce it with a press conference. They didn't send you a memo, but they started pumping $40 billion a month into the system. They call it reserve management, which is a sentence designed by a committee that hates joy. Because what it really means is they just made your cash worth less. And if you don't understand what's happening right now, you're about to watch the equity in your home get quietly stolen, not by a crash, but by a system that's designed to make your dollars weaker every single month. Now, there's an old Wall Street phrase, you've probably heard this before, don't fight the Fed. And most people, they have no idea what that actually means. But if you understand it, I mean really understand it, you can stop being the victim of the system and start using it to protect what you've built. So today, I'm going to break it all down, and not the Wall Street jargon version. I'm going to give you the version that protects homeowners. I'm going to show you why the real threat isn't a market crash. It's the invisible tax they just activated on every dollar you have ever saved. And I'm going to give you the specific moves homeowners are making right now to turn this threat into a shield. There are 7 of them. Because here's the thing about the financial system. It is not designed to be fair. It is designed to flow. And right now, the Federal Reserve is doing the one thing that changes everything. They are making money cheaper again. And when they make money cheaper, asset prices do not just go up, they inflate. I mean, we're talking stocks, we're talking gold, we're talking silver, we are talking real estate. Basically, any asset that cannot be printed by a bureaucrat in a basement is about to get a tailwind. Now, you might be thinking, but wait, isn't the economy kind of fragile right now? Yes. Aren't people broke? Also, yes. But, and this is the part that drives rational people insane, markets do not care about your feelings. Markets do not care about the economy. Markets move on exactly one thing: liquidity. It's like this. Picture a neighborhood swimming pool. The Fed, they control the hose. Now, when they turn the hose on, the water rises and everything floats. The yachts float higher, the rubber ducks float higher, even the dead squirrel floating near the filter floats higher. Now, when they turn the hose off, the water drains and everything sinks to the bottom. It doesn't matter how nice the boat is either. If there is no water, it is sitting in the mud. That's liquidity. Liquidity is simply how much money is sloshing around in the system and how easy it is to grab some. When liquidity is tight, borrowing gets expensive, lending slows, assets struggle. When liquidity is loose, borrowing is cheap, money moves, assets rise. So don't fight the Fed means this: if the Fed is making money easier and cheaper to get, stop betting that asset prices are about to collapse. Because you are clinging to the bottom while the pool is filling. And right now, the hose is on full blast. Let me show you the receipts, because I don't want you to just take my word for it. I want you to look at the plumbing. On December 12th, the Fed started buying $40 billion of securities per month. They swore up and down, this isn't quantitative easing. This is just technical. It's temporary. Right. And I'm just technically inhaling this meat lover's pizza. It's not gluttony, it's a transitory caloric influx event. The market doesn't care what they call it. The market sees $40 billion of new money entering the chat. And that money has to go somewhere. It doesn't sit still. Money, it's restless. It's like a toddler on a sugar rush. It has to go somewhere. It flows into stocks. It flows into ETFs. And it flows into gold and silver. It flows into income property. This is why the crash crowd on YouTube has been wrong for years. They're looking at fundamentals. They're looking at the PE ratios. They're looking at the debt levels. They're looking at gravity. But they forgot about the jetpack. The Fed cannot allow a crash because the system, it's more fragile than it has ever been. Debt levels are at historic highs. The government is running massive deficits. If the market crashes, tax receipts crash, the deficit explodes, and the banks wobble. It becomes a national security issue, really. So they have a Fed put. That means if the market drops hard enough, they step in. They cut rates faster. They print more. They launch emergency facilities. They are trapped. They have to keep the party going or the hangover will kill the patient. And that means they have to sacrifice the dollar to save the system. So what does this mean for you? It means that the dollar in your savings account is the victim. Think about gold for a second. And your brain probably went immediately to, Matt, gold is at $3,000, $4,000 an ounce. It's too expensive. Did I miss the boat? Well, here's the secret. Gold isn't going up. An ounce of gold is an ounce of gold. It buys roughly the same amount of bread and gas and labor as it did in 1920. Gold isn't changing. The dollar is. The dollar is shrinking. You see, when you see gold hit $3,000 or silver hit $40, this isn't a bull market in metals. That is a bear market in currency. It takes more of your paper dollars to buy the same rock. So if you're sitting in cash because you think gold is too high, you are betting that the dollar is going to get stronger. You are betting that the government is going to stop printing money, that they are going to pay off the debt, that they are going to become fiscally responsible. Does that sound like a winning bet to you? Or does that sound like a fantasy? I'm betting on the cynicism. I'm betting they will print. They've already told us that they're going to. And that makes hard assets like real estate, gold, silver, and debatably Bitcoin essential survival tools. But buying gold is tricky. There are sharks in the water, high premiums, fake coins, and collectible scams. So you need to know the right questions to ask before you wire a single dollar. So I created a specific checklist called the 10 questions to ask your gold dealer. It filters out the scammers instantly. Go to hedgethefed.com, download the checklist, and use it to vet your dealer. But don't buy a single ounce until you read that list. Now, let's look at the wild card. In May 2026, Jerome Powell's term as Fed chair ends. The White House gets to pick a new one. And reporting says top contenders being discussed include Kevin Hassett, Kevin Warsh, and Christopher Waller. Do you think they are going to pick a hawk? Someone who wants to raise rates and cause a recession right before the midterms? No. They're going to pick a dove. They're going to pick someone who wants to run the economy hot, who prioritizes growth over stable prices. So the tailwinds for asset prices are lining up perfectly. So the bias, the political gravity, is going to be toward easier money, toward boosting activity, toward pumping the tires. Now, I know another thought that probably just popped up in your head. Matt, are you saying the Fed is invincible, that this is a for sure thing, that markets only go up? No, I'm not saying that. There are some rare times when don't fight the Fed fails. And you need to know what those look like so you don't get blindsided. Number one, the Fed is easing because something is already breaking, not preventative easing, emergency easing. In those moments, markets can still drop because panic outruns policy for a while. Two, inflation is out of control and the Fed loses credibility. Well, that's when they're forced to tighten hard, even if it hurts. So the phrase isn't don't fight the Fed no matter what, it's watch what the Fed is trying to solve. If they're easing into strength, don't fight them. If they're easing into a crisis, expect chaos. If they're tightening into inflation, respect the pain. But right now, they are easing into stability. They are refilling the pool. And that means the base case is asset prices have support. Not forever, not in a straight line, but support. Now, I can already see it coming in the comments. Here we go. Another guy on YouTube talking about the Fed like it's a comic book villain. Listen, you're not crazy. You're not paranoid. You're just paying attention. You're doing what you should be doing. You've been playing by the rules your whole life. You worked. You saved. You bought a home. And now the system is quietly changing the rules while you're still playing the old game. The gaslighting is real. I mean, you're being told that the economy is strong while your purchasing power evaporates. You're being told inflation is under control while insurance premiums double. And you're rightfully skeptical of buying stocks at all-time highs. It feels like walking into a trap, doesn't it? But here's the reality check. The trap isn't the market. The trap is the cash. The trap is sitting on the sidelines, hugging your savings account while the Federal Reserve dilutes the value of every hour you've ever worked. If you're waiting for things to make sense, you're gonna go broke. If you're waiting for the all clear signal, you're gonna miss the move. Because in a liquidity-driven world, the market climbs a wall of worry. You are the sane one in the room, no doubt. The system changed. That's what happened. It used to reward savers. Now it punishes them. It used to punish debtors. Now it rewards them. I mean, if you have a 3% mortgage and inflation is 5%, the bank is paying you to live in your house. That is inflation arbitrage. And my job here is not to hype you up or tell you what to do, although it may land that way every once in a while. That's not my intent, and I apologize if it came across that way. Rather, though, it's to give you a clearer picture. Because once you understand how this system actually works, the path forward gets a lot less confusing. Especially if you're a homeowner trying to hold on to what you've built while prices sprint away. So let's shift from fear to control. Jason Bourne time. So you wake up in an alley. You got no memory, but you're dangerous as hell. That's what it feels like to be a normal person in 2026. You didn't ask to learn about liquidity. You didn't want to memorize Fed acronyms. You just wanted your money to behave. So here's what you do next. I got 7 steps. Step 1, stop waiting for normal to come back. Normal, it's not on the schedule. Step 2, stop thinking in perfect timing. Think in positioning. That's the whole don't fight the Fed idea. Position yourself so the rising pool water helps you instead of drowning you. Step 3, I'm staying invested. I had a great run in 2025. The temptation to sell everything, to go to cash and hide under the bed, it's strong. If you got that feeling, I understand. But I'm not taking money off the table just to watch it lose to inflation. Not in 2026. Not with the liquidity spigot open. Step 4, I'm buying the dips. And this is crucial. I'm not telling you the market is going to go up in a straight line, because it won't. We will have volatility. We will have scary headlines. We will have days where CNBC screams that the sky is falling. But in this environment, this liquidity-rich election cycle money printing environment, dips are not the end of the world. They are gift cards. They are buying opportunities. When the market pulls back, I'm not selling. I am accumulating. Step 5, I'm holding real assets. Gold, silver, real estate, and a little bit of Bitcoin. Things that the Federal Reserve cannot print. Remember, silver can spike and then pull back hard. It did it after 2011. And it can go sideways for years. So don't confuse a bullish trend with a winning lottery ticket. But mathematically, as the dollar weakens, these assets are your shield. Step 6. Know the tax landmines. If you use metal ETFs like GLD or SLV, understand the IRS can treat certain precious metal holdings as collectibles, and long-term gains can be taxed up to 28%. This is significantly higher than the 15 to 20% long-term capital gains rates you pay on stocks. You take the risk, they take a bigger slice. So don't accidentally turn a hedge into a tax surprise. Step 7. And this is the homeowner move. Use inflation like a judo throw, because inflation is the dollar buying less. And the best defense isn't arguing with reality. It's owning the kind of asset that moves with it. For homeowners, the cleanest version, simple. 1 to 2 carefully chosen income properties. Get them off market if possible. Buy them with equity already in place. And this is not a get rich game. No, you're buying them as a shield, because rents, they tend to reset upward over time, while your fixed debt payment does not. So inflation keeps rising the world around you, but your payment stays the same. And the rent rises. That spread, that's the shield. It's not flashy. It's not a Lamborghini. It's a seatbelt. And if you want the step-by-step play on how normal homeowners do this without turning life into a second job, that's why I put together some free information for you. To make it easy, I uploaded it at inflationdefense.com. It's the front door for people who know prices aren't going back to normal and don't want to get run over either. So the Fed turned on the hose. The water is rising. You can stand on the bottom of the pool and complain that the water is too high, or you can get in the boat and ride it to the top. But either way, understanding the liquidity cycle, it's only half the battle, because while the Fed is inflating your assets, the state is trying to confiscate them. There is a legal mechanism local governments use to seize wealth that has nothing to do with inflation and everything to do with bureaucratic theft, property tax reassessments, hidden fees, aggressive valuations. And if you aren't shielded from those, all those gains you make in 2026 could vanish in a single tax bill. So if you want in on the 3 ways homeowners are quietly beating property taxes right now, I pulled this video out here for you to watch next, because making money, it's pointless if you can't keep it. Saving what you've got is pointless if they're just going to come and take it away from you anyway. So don't go into this year defenseless. You've got options. Watch here, and I'll see you over there.